Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very good.
Thanks for accepting my request and accepting to talk with me.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
So I thought to introduce you to my audience.
All right. You want me to do that, right?
Yeah, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes. So my name is Savannah Moore. I host the podcast ABC Crimes. It is a true crime podcast where every week I tell you a crime that takes place in all over the United States. I choose my crimes based on the alphabet. So, for example, one week will be like last week I posted the letter Q, the letter Q. And then next week I'm going to do a city that starts with the letter R.
Okay, so you are from?
San Diego, California.
Okay, so you said you'll be selecting the crime topics based on the alphabets.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
how many alphabets have you completed?
I haven't completed any yet. I've only done 17 episodes, I think. So I'm close. I have like 10 episodes left. I'm excited to complete the first set.
So AB Crime is your podcast.
It's ABC Crimes. Yeah. It's spelled AB Crimes, but I pronounce it ABC Crimes.
ABC crimes. You look beautiful. Why can't you start the visual one? Why you went for the vocal one?
Because I accidentally pressed the vocal part.
Okay.
I got so excited I misclicked it.
Okay. So because I have done videos with all the people, most of the people are more into vocal, but I think you can do both, the vocal and the visual one, like me.
I'm hoping so. I'm working on starting to do like YouTube and TikTok with my podcast episodes. Try to I'm just trying to figure out the kinks right now.
Is this
It
your
it takes
full-time job?
it sorry?
Is this your full-time job?
No, so I work at a theater where we show plays. Right now I'm furloughed for the next couple weeks until we get started again. But I work there. I work in props. I basically buy things for shows.
Wow.
hmm
So, can you tell more about your podcast? You said ABC Crimes. So, you said you'll be talking about the crime incidents that happen in United States.
Yeah, so I talk about murder. I talk about um, one of the episodes was a prison riot. I do mostly solved crimes because I'm not a fan is the wrong word. Uh, I like the justice of a solved crime. So that's why I choose to do those ones, not unsolved ones. But there's lots of podcasts that do unsolved ones, so I just found my space.
But nobody expects a visual like you, a soft person like you talking about violence.
Yeah, I get that sometimes, but it's something that I am strangely interested in, so I just go for it. If I'm interested in it, then I'll love it.
But this is new visual for people. You know, they are habituated to watching crime. Even in India, I'm from South India. In TV shows, there are crime shows. A
Yeah.
lot of people who explains crime look so wild, or their voice are so contains bass voice to create impact, but they are habituated to this. I think you ABC Crimes is one of the different podcast. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just really excited to be on your show. I'm just excited for that. So that's why I'm kind of a little bit happier than I normally am. Because when you talk about crime, it's not a happy topic. Not at all.
Yeah,
So I,
yeah.
I am definitely calmer. I also had a lot of coffee today, so that may be part of it.
So when did you start this?
I started this podcast in June, so it's been a little over 6 months now. I just put out 17 episodes. I was unable to keep doing it consecutively every single week because of COVID. Uh, some of my family members caught it, so I had to stop and take breaks at points. But I'm working on making sure I get trying to do every single week, get an episode done.
So 17 episodes, how was it and what was it about?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
17 episodes, how was that and what is it about?
So it's a lot of hard work. The first episode is it's that one takes place in Aloha, Oregon. So it's on the West Coast, and it's a crime that took place in 2018. So it was a very recent crime.
Okay.
It's very sad. This mother, she was trying to get help because she was a drug addict. So she was trying to get help. She was working on treatment and recovery because she wanted to provide a better life for her son. And she actually wanted to be an Instagram model. And she was doing pretty good working on that. Her name was Sarah.
Okay.
Then one day, a guy that she knew, he was her neighbor and her drug dealer, he got mad at her because he felt like she was not paying a debt that she owed to him. So this is going to get very graphic. So if you guys maybe skip for if you don't want the graphicness, just skip for 30 seconds or something like that. Maybe put a little note. But he ended up, he got so mad that he pushed her down the stairs and then he slit her throat, killing her. And then he dismembered her body. And he put the body parts in his car, and then the police found it. They got a cadaver dog. He tried to commit suicide, but he survived. And then he ended up making friends with someone in prison, and that person ended up being an ex-police officer. So he confessed the whole crime to this ex-police officer when he was in prison. He gave all the details to the prosecutors. And then they managed to charge him, and he got life in prison. So that's good. I mean, it's very sad, very, very sad for her family and for her son. But I'm happy that he's in prison and getting in trouble for what he did. But it's so sad, so sad.
You
So
study before telling about a particular incident?
Yeah, so all of that was the same incident. That's my whole first episode, just more detailed.
Only one incident you had talked for
Uh,
multiple times.
I have lots. Do you want me to go over all of them?
No, I'm just asking you to just tell the overview of each one,
Oh,
if
okay. So
possible.
the second one is Baton Rouge. It's about a serial killer. The third one is I believe about a kidnapping. I have a kidnapping. I have a prison riot. Most of them are murders. There are some racial crimes. There are, let's see. Oh, there's one about a woman who killed her husband and her husband's, well, no, she didn't kill her husband. No, she did kill her husband. She killed her first husband, and then she killed his girlfriend, and then she got away scot-free. Like, she's still on the run. And that happened 60 years ago. She had the longest outstanding warrant in the state of Ohio, I think. So, but most of them are murders, unfortunately. I am doing other ones too. There's a kidnapping. I think I said that. So that's
Okay.
a big overview.
So why you wanted to talk about crime?
I am very interested in it. I have been interested in crime since I was really young. I don't know where it started and I don't know why, but I have been my first memory of a crime that I was interested in was BTK. I don't know if you or your audience has heard of him. BTK is an acronym for bind, torture, kill. He was a serial killer who used to break into people's apartments, bind, torture, kill them. But one of my first memories of crime stuff is me being in the grocery store line and seeing just a big magazine with his picture on it and saying BTK. And I got very interested in it, and I was like 9 or 10, so I really shouldn't have been reading any of it. But I mean, there was the internet close to that time, so I read it, and I've just been, the stories I find very interesting.
So before telling and after telling, are you the same person?
Not all the time. Some of them are very hard. Like there was this one episode I did for the letter G. It's called Groveland, Florida. That one was a really hard one to do. I had a few nightmares during that one. That one's a racially motivated crime where these 4 guys, like they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything. And they were 4 black men, and they were charged with the crime. One of them was killed. The others spent life in prison. One of them got out. Actually, 2 of them got out, but they spent their whole life in prison. They spent like 40, 50 years in prison for nothing. They didn't do anything. So that one was really sad. That one stuck with me, how they were treated throughout the whole process and how they were persecuted.
Are you the same person after understanding the criminals and the mindsets of them?
I think so. I think it probably makes me a better person because now I'm much more. I mean, I'm really an empathetic person, but just understanding it more makes my emotions so much wider. I don't think I'm explaining that correctly, but I think I'm a better person for knowing some of this, which is weird to say.
So you already doing a full-time job as a.
Mhm. Yeah, so it's a lot of work and a lot of trying to manage my time to be able to do my job and to do the podcast. Fortunately, I started during quarantine here in the United States. And I was able to start off with the podcast and then figure out the process that I need for myself to post an episode. And then I was able to mesh work with working on the podcast.
Okay, so do you have any big number that you want to reach?
No, I'm just happy some people are listening. That's all I'm happy about. I'm thankful for their support.
So what kind of response you get for your audio clips?
I get some of so I can get between 90 and I think the most downloads I've gotten on an episode is 130. But I'm happy with that. I'm doing okay. It's the most I've got.
So who influenced you? Is this your own decision to show your vocal cord to the world, or it's somebody said you to do this?
I came up with the idea to do it. It was my idea, but I am influenced by a lot of podcasts I listen to. I listen to a lot of crime podcasts, so I was listening to them and I was like, you know what? I read so much about this stuff anyway. I may as well let other people see what I'm understand and see what I'm learning.
So you said you study a lot about criminals and their mindsets and how the situations took place. You know, not every human being wants to do crimes. In that particular situation, uh, they feel extremely emotional and they do certain acts, and which leads them to sit in jail for a long time. And after that particular emotion, they realize, maybe next day they will realize that I should not do this. So even I used to watch a lot of crime related stories, in which all the criminals used to tell about what made them to do that. Right. So, what do you understand about their mindsets? I want you to tell about the criminals' mindsets. Why they develop like that, or they are dissatisfied for what happened, or they are not comfortable with what is there, or or they wantedly want to become rebels or anarchists.
There's so I'm not a psychologist. I just read a lot, so that's where I get what I know from. But there are so many reasons that someone does what they do. Like one woman in the podcast that I did, she was a nurse, and she would put medicine, not medicine, but she would poison babies in the hospital. She there is no there is no motive that anybody can find as to why she did what she did. Some people say it was just in her nature. That's how she was. Some people say that she just wanted attention, because she would poison them and then she would try and save them. She didn't always save all of them, which is very unfortunate. But that's what she would do. And people think it was also maybe for attention. But there's no concrete motive as to why she did what she did. And it's hard to say. There's nothing that you can point to and say, oh, this person is doing this, so they're going to be a serial killer when they get older. There are signs that some people, when you have all of them together, it can make you believe that they could be. But I mean, maybe they don't become a serial killer. So it's 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 so complicated and so varied in why people do what they do. Some things are crimes of passion. Like they're just feeling so much emotion at that time that they do what they do. Sometimes they regret it, sometimes they don't, but they just do what they do. I wish I knew how to, I wish I knew how, had more information on why they do what they do, but it's just so varied, so different with person to person.
So, have you studied any criminal particularly?
No, I have not. I tend to dabble in a lot of different crimes and different criminals based on what my episode is going to be on. I study one crime, the victims and the perpetrator for like a week. Get all of that, record my episode, post the episode, and then I have to move on to the next one. So I get short, intense time with each crime.
So, crime story itself, it's a intense topic.
It's an intense topic?
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
because it creates a lot of interest.
Mm-hmm.
But which is against actually harming some person uh, for any reason is not good, is not correct,
Yes. Yeah. It's
right?
not. It's not.
So, what is the message that you want to send to the people who listens to your podcast by telling these stories?
They're not the only people who are interested in crime. That's kind of a message I want them to have. And I just want them to be more aware. Most people who are interested in crime are they like try to do things to prevent crime from happening to them. And I want them to know that it can happen to anybody. And there's nothing, it's not right to blame the victim and say, oh, if I'd been in this situation, I could have done better. It's not right, because it can happen to anybody in any circumstances. So I just want people to love and be happy in where they are now, because you never know what's going to happen. But I want them to know that they're not alone. Other people are interested in learning more about crime as well.
What is a crime story that made you to think for a long time?
That I thought of, I did this one. So there's this one in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. I believe it was Wisconsin. And it was about this girl who was kidnapped as a young child. And the person who kidnapped her was a person that her family and her school had trusted. She was kidnapped for a couple of months. This is very graphic, so maybe skip like the next like 5 seconds or something. But a lot of bad things happened to her in the hotel when she was with the guys because she was kidnapped for a couple of months by him. But she was found, and she's grown up since then, and she is actually a public speaker now. She advocates for people and for women and for victims, survivors. She advocates for them and tells her story, which is great because she's such a positive influence. She has her own kids now. She is a remarkable woman. So that one stuck with me for a long time because I don't know if I had been in her situation, if I could have recovered like she did. What she did is very tough. And I'm sure she still has hard days, but she's an amazing woman.
So telling the stories and making people to know about it, definitely you can be the reason for the reduction of the crime rate in different
Mm-hmm.
countries.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. That's what people want. Reduction, no crime, no awful things happening.
So tell me the way you tell these stories, the way.
So I start with, so first I have to find a city. Because I don't always know a crime that's connected to a city that starts with whatever letter I'm looking for. Like Q, the letter Q was a difficult one to find because I have to first find a city that starts with the letter Q and then do research on various cities until I find a crime that I am interested in doing for that week. And then from there, I'll read as much as I can about it. I'll give myself maybe a day, 2 days to read as much as I can about the crime. And then I will put it in a format. Typically, I start with the day the crime started, the day the crime happened. Sometimes I'll start with the victim's past. Sometimes I'll start all the way at the beginning of the murderer's past. It just depends on the story and how I feel it is most effective to tell it, what order the events took place in. Then I record it, and then I edit it, and then I post it, and then I think too much about it, so I move on to the next one as quickly as I can. But if anybody wants to know more information or where I got my information, I always include that in my episode description so they can look up the information themselves, any listeners.
So at last, tell me about the justice, that the word called justice that you used in the beginning of this video.
Tell you about justice? What I
Yes.
consider it to be?
Yes.
So I consider justice to be when the person who committed the crime is being held responsible for what they did. Does the justice ever equal out? No, because ultimately what they did is much worse than the punishment that they're going to be receiving. But I like having them punished in some way. I like having the ending where they are being sentenced to life or how many years they're being sentenced to. That is why I don't go into, or typically I don't do unsolved crimes. If I do unsolved crimes, then my mind just goes into a tailspin and I cannot stop thinking about them because there's no ending to it. There's nobody being held responsible. So justice is someone being held responsible for what they have done.
Nice message to the world and to the people who watches this video. And at last, have you seen any videos of mine on YouTube?
I saw a few. When you messaged me to do a video, I went and checked out a bunch of your stuff. I saw that you I believe you interviewed an African football player, like a football player from Africa. That's pretty cool. I don't even know how you find all these people to interview. You have so many videos. You post like every like 2 days or something. It's pretty cool. I appreciate your work ethic. You do a good job.
Thank you. I'll put your link in the description of this video. People who wants to listen to your podcast, who are interested in crime, listening to the crime stories, and from anywhere on this planet, they will find your stories, and they will listen to you.
Make sure you let me know when you're gonna post it and send me the link, and I'll also tell my listeners to watch your show.
Okay, I will tell. I will upload, like you said, in the next 2 days. It will be out.
I'll keep an eye out for it.
Yeah,
Thank you for this. I really enjoyed this. Thank you.
yeah. Can I put this video on my YouTube channel, on internet, on podcast, on social media with your permission?
Yeah, put it wherever you want. You have my permission.
Okay, thank you. Keep going. Keep telling a lot of stories so that people get a motivation and get inspired with your way of telling and with your messages. You know, crime is a legal term. You are telling stories that in which human beings are doing something they should not do, and everybody should know their rights, what they have to do, what they should not do. That's why the reason these societal rules are controlling the systems, and different countries
Mm.
have different rules. Different
Yeah.
societies have different rules and different laws. So I'm sure, I don't need to say you know more about it because you are more into this. So from this show, I wanted all the people to be in their control and know their rights and uh, do what is required, not what not is required.
Hmm. And you keep posting wonderful interviews with people who are doing good stuff. They're very interesting. Even the mental health professional from the healthcare, that's very good. You're doing like I'm shining light on bad stories that have already happened. You're showing hope and excitement for the future. For things that are happening now. So keep doing it.
Thank you. You too. Keep going. You look good. I want you to start a YouTube channel too, so that you can reach more people.
Okay, I will. Thank you. With your
Yeah.
encouragement, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me your valuable time and spending your thoughts about CB, ABC crimes,
Thank
ABC
you.
crimes. Yeah.
Hmm.
Take care.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye.